Hello everybody, my name is Sniping is Fun, and I welcome you all back to the next Newcomer idea in this series of Newcomer ideas for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. In this series, I'm talking about various new character ideas for the upcoming Smash Bros. Game on Nintendo Switch. And I'm currently on character number 81, which means I have officially broken the mold, broken the limit I basically set upon myself when I did my series of videos for the Smash Bros. 4 character ballot back like 2015-ish range. Like, I did 80 characters in that series. I started with Simon Belmont. I ended on Professor Layton, 2 characters of which I talked about numerous videos ago, one of which is now going to be included in Smash Bros. Alongside Richter. So there you go with that. But I did only 80 characters in that series, and I'm officially doing 81 in this. So this series is officially longer and going on for more characters to talk about than my Smash Ballot series from years ago. And I'm hoping to continue this for a little bit longer. I'm hoping to go to at least 100, but I have enough ideas I could probably go to about 110, 120. I want to talk about numerous character ideas. Like, I just want to talk about numerous third parties, retros, Nintendo characters, and you'll be seeing quite a bit of videos from this series up until about November. So hopefully this series goes on strong. But as I mentioned back in my character number 80 video, when I talked about Claude Von Reagan from Fire Emblem Three Houses, I am now going to do character number 81 on the I'm sorry, I messed up there. I am going to be doing character number 81 on another character from the Disgaea series. I've already done Laharo about 20 some odd videos ago. He was in the 50-60 range somewhere. I'm trying to remember exactly where. But Laharo, the main character of the first Disgaea, D2, and has made pretty much appearances in every single Disgaea game in some way, shape, or form. He's part of a side story, and he's a DLC character. They've done numerous things with him. He's pretty much the mascot of the series. But going on which, I want to talk about another main protagonist from that series that I feel does deserve a chance to get into Smash Bros. At some point, and that's Killia from Disgaea 5. Now, why does Killia deserve to be included in Smash Bros? Why does Disgaea deserve to be a third-party franchise represented in Smash Bros. Alongside the likes of Castlevania and Final Fantasy and Metal Gear and Sonic and Pac-Man and Street Fighter? Well, here we go, and I'm going to just discuss in this video before this intro gets on any much longer than it already is. 3 categories as always. Why does the character make sense? Moveset ideas, and percentage chance I could actually see them getting into Smash Bros. So let's get with the reasons why. First and foremost, before I talk about Killia specifically, I'm talking about why Disgaea deserves to be represented in Smash Bros. Why does Disgaea? Why does this franchise that started back around 2003, has only been around for about 15 years, and doesn't have that much history on Nintendo, why does it deserve to be included alongside the likes of all those iconic third-party franchises that I mentioned that are already in the series, the likes of Metal Gear and Sonic and Castlevania, or to be included instead of third-party franchises that are iconic that have yet to be included in Smash Bros. Like Ace Attorney and Rayman and Monster Hunter and what the heck else, like Resident Evil and Dragon Quest. Well, first and foremost, yes, this guy doesn't have the most history with Nintendo. The first game came out in 2003 on the PS2, and pretty much every release since then has seen a PlayStation release. But before I get into its history on Nintendo, the series itself, as niche as it still technically is, and for those of you that don't know what this guy is, it's technically a strategy RPG, akin to the idea of like a Fire Emblem, a Suikoden, Final Fantasy Tactics, where you just build up your units, you create your units, you train your units, you give them weapons and armors and items, and move them around the map and go chapter to chapter battlefield, and you defeat the enemy team. It's pretty much similar to that, especially Final Fantasy Tactics. I think is the one that's mostly I would relate to more so than Suikoden and Fire Emblem. But if you like games like that, I would suggest you go look it out. The series is pretty freaking awesome. It's this big anime, crazy, weird demons, angels, monsters fighting each other with cool, wacky anime characters and big storylines and whatever the heck else, and training your characters like level past 100 and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in it. If you're interested in it, I would suggest looking it out. But like I said, it's still a niche, but it's a growing niche. And like that's basically what Fire Emblem has become. It started off as a niche that was only in Japan, and it was localized worldwide after Melee. It had Roy and Marth, and now the series has grown in Europe and grown in America, and that's since Fire Emblem Awakening. Fire Emblem's become one of Nintendo's biggest franchises. It's not very much a niche anymore. Something can start off as a niche and grow larger, and pretty much I would say Disgaea is getting there very much so. They've had like 6-7 games. It's still niche-ish, but it's growing outside of Japan. It's fairly big in Japan as far as I recall, and it's growing in America, it's growing in Japan. It's just a growing franchise, and that's a good thing. We need to think about third-party franchises that are not just iconic, not just old school, iconic, long-term, legendary franchises. We need to think about the growing franchises that are going to be here for years to come. So we can build them up to be the next lineup of long-standing iconic franchises. And I think Disgaea has the chance to be that. Like, Nippon Ichi Software made this big franchise. It's localized by the likes of Atlas and NIS America. And I think it's growing worldwide, Nintendo or otherwise. And speaking of Nintendo, it does have history on Nintendo. It's a growing third-party franchise on Nintendo. The first game was ported to the DS. They ported a version, and then a version that's getting ported to the Disgaea 1 Complete is going to be ported to the Switch, I think either this year or next year. This HD remastered version of it with, Laharo's game is coming to the Nintendo Switch. And we did see Disgaea 5 Complete, Killia's game right here, come to the system like last year. It was one of the earliest third-party games on the Switch, and it sold pretty damn well. So yes, I think the series has a history on Nintendo. It's starting to grow a history on Nintendo. I recall this game selling well enough. I do see whenever they do, and I heard rumors that they're going to do Disgaea 2 Complete, Disgaea 3 Complete, Disgaea 4 Complete. Those probably all will be on the Switch. And when Disgaea 6 is considered, it's probably the Switch or the Switch's successor whenever it comes out. It's going to have a history on Nintendo. It's not just, it doesn't just have a history, a new growing history of getting popular and being niche, but growing outside of Nintendo. It's doing the same thing in Nintendo, and I think it's a franchise from a company that does support them quite a bit. Like, they do bring some of their games out. They are a company, a third-party company that does bring games to Nintendo. I think they deserve it. And specifically Killia. Killia is probably one of the more well-liked main characters of the series. Not on Laharo level. Laharo's just iconic, and he's just like the mascot main character of the series. But he's one of the more fairly well-liked characters. He represents the newest game that pretty much is going to start the trend of building up these games on Nintendo and building up future games on Nintendo, because I don't know how well Disgaea 1 sold on the DS, but Disgaea 5 sold a whole lot, so it might be a marketing strategy. Oh, this game sold well, he's popular, put him in there and represent him, and he could be representing the future of the series on Nintendo. I don't know, I'm just going there. And he's unique enough, he's different enough, he stands out from most of the main characters of the series outside of maybe Adele and Belfatraz and Laharo. But he's like one of the more popular characters I recall from the main characters from the series. He's fairly well liked. He represents the newest game, and I think that's a good marketing strategy. And I think they can make a decent character out of him. So yes, I think this Gaia should be represented, and not Belfatraz, he's Disgaea 4. Killia should be the choice that they should go for. Not saying he makes more sense really than Laharo, because I think Laharo makes more sense, but Killia would be kind of cool too. Moveset ideas. Now, I haven't put a whole lot of time into Disgaea 5 yet. I put a decent chunk of time into it, but not enough to really, get used to the game. I played a lot more of like 4 and 1 and whatnot, and 2. But he for those of you that are worried, oh, you see this character design and think he's going to use a sword, technically, but he's more of a fist fighter. He more fights with his fists and his legs. He's a puncher and a kicker, so he might be different. I am, however, going to give him some swords though, so sword haters. So yeah, but I'm going to focus his moveset on, because he prefers to fight, hand-to-hand, hand and foot, hand-to-hand combat type of thing. So I'd say his smash attacks are mostly going to be fists and kicks. He's primarily a hand-to-hand fighter. He can use swords and can use other weapons, but his character description pretty much is, and how he fights is, he'd rather fight hand-to-hand. He'd rather not rely on a weapon. He'd rather fight for defending people, fight for honor and stuff. So he is like a demon that basically fights for honor, and he views it as, I need to fight with my fists and my kicking people. So the smash attacks are mostly going to be a bunch of punches, combo punches, and kicks and stuff like that. And one unique feature in his game is he is very combo heavy. He can do a lot of punches and kicks and combo opponents with his attacks. So, and a special feature is, if he can combo opponents enough, damage racks up. So, like, the more combos you hit on opponents, the more damage will obviously be put on the character. So I'm going to put a little special treat to him as a character. If you can do enough combos, the attack damage will just rack up a lot. Like if you can hit like a 10 punch kick, 20 punch, 30 punch kick combo, it's going to do a decent chunk of damage because every hit is going to give a smidge more percent damage than the last, depending on how long you can keep your combo up. So that's going to be his special trait. If you can keep a combo up, you do a heavy lot of damage because with every extra hit in your combo, you're dealing more damage to each attack. So that's going to be his little special trait. But yes, smash attacks are fists and kicks. His special attacks are going to be basically the special attack from the game. I did, however, mention he does have a sword, so I do have 1 or 2 little sword swings in his special attacks. It's nothing major. It doesn't make him a sword fighter, but he does bring out a sword and attack with one of the more basic swords, maybe not the most powerful sword in the game, but one of the more basic early game swords, like a broadsword or something. He just comes out, phew! There you go. I'm getting out of the way that he has a little sword attack. Not anything major in his moveset, but just a little, like maybe side B or something. But I wanted to focus more so on his special attacks. Primarily more toned down special attacks. If you've actually played this guy, you see how these people do these earth-shattering, powerful destruction special attacks that shatter the earth and just make big, massive explosions and whatnot. That doesn't really work to make a moveset that's not going to be OP. So some of these attacks are more spectacles and cutscene based in the game. I'm toning them down so they make more sense in a fighting game aspect. But they're all special attacks. 3 of them are special attacks that he basically does in the game. There's the Exploding Tiger, which is like a running dash punch. He just runs forward and dashes past your character as a punch, and he can freeze your opponent, so you'll be stuck for a second or 2 frozen. Make it a little bit less OP so you're not frozen forever. But it's like the Exploding Tiger. Like he runs past you and he freezes you, and instead of just freezing you entirely, I'm going to say it's going to be a chargeable attack. If he just does it normally, he slides past you and it will slow you down and freeze you for like 1 or 2 seconds. If you charge it fully and do it, you get shattered in ice and then it just breaks apart and explodes. So there you go. There's the Exploding Tiger. He has the Hellfire Shot, which in the game is just he shoots just giant fire. It's a big giant cutscene thing where he jumps in the air and does it. Hellfire Shot, he's just basically able to shoot flame beams out of his hands, like little fireball shots. Think like Avatar: The Last Airbender, how a firebender's like, that's what he does. He just shoots fires from punching out of his hands. And it's chargeable, so it'll be more like big flame attacks. And there's also going to be variations on the attack, I would say, in the air, given that the attack actually ends in the air. So you could jump in the air and be like, shooting up opponents or shooting down at the ground when your opponents are down there. So that's the Hellfire Shot. And he does a flaming spin kick, so he just jumps up and just like a back spin kick, and his leg goes on fire and he just kicks you in the face. It's technically a special attack he does with another person, but I just pulled out the teamwork double special and just made him do it himself. So he's very heavy on fire. His moveset does heavily rely on fire, and I think that's cool. And this one other feature, I wanted to throw this in there because it will add to the wackiness of his character, given that he's from Disgaea and the series is just full of wacky anime-esque characters. He's a big eater. He really loves to eat a lot and go into battle and eat during battles, and he loves curry. So he'll pull out a curry pot and throw it at you. Yes, I have to throw something like that in there because I have to represent that fact that he's a big eater. I'm going to throw it into the fact that maybe for some of his taunts, he just sits down and eats a bowl of curry, or during his win animations, he'll maybe just chomp on a bowl of curry while he's celebrating that he won, or just sit around like, I don't know. But I have to represent that because he is a big curry eater. So basically, the special attacks will have a few different sword swings, but just very, very minor. And if you want to, you can take them out there, because realistically, you don't really need them. But I want to throw him in there, given that he does use a sword in the game. And I don't really want to take that away from him. But since he's primarily a fist fighter, a punch and kick fighter, I don't want to give him too much sword stuff. The Exploding Tiger, the Hellfire Shot, throwing curry at people, and doing a flaming spin kick. There's his special attacks. In terms of Final Smash, I'm giving him one of his ultimate special attacks from the game, and it's called the, let me see, I have it written down here, the Macrocosm, something like that, whatever. It's his ultimate special attack from the game. He kind of like charges up, he does this little like he rushes forward and does a punch combo. So it's gonna be kind of like how it's a cutscene base. You have to catch him in the cutscene. So he kind of charges up. He rushes forward with a punch, and any opponents he gets, he hits will be thrown into a punch combo into the cutscene final smash. Where the cutscene is basically him just punching through opponents. He's just he just dashes through and punches them in the air, and as they're in the air, he just kind of flies through them multiple times doing kicks. And then he just goes in and he punches them to the ground, and the opponent's like into the ground, and he jumps up in the air, and he just charges up Macrocosm! And this big giant energy beam just goes into the ground, big explosion, poof! And he gets them flying off the stage. So there you go. That's going to be his final smash. Percentage chance I could actually see him getting in. I think if we do get a Disgaea character, it will be Laharl, though. That's the only thing. I would love to see Killia. He's a cool character, and there's still a small chance he's like one of the 2 characters underneath Laharl that might stand a chance to get in the game over him if they wanted to go for someone that was not Laharl, because I think it'd be either him or probably Velvetraz from 4. Given that I think they're both fairly well-liked characters. I don't know about Adele or Mao, though. Those 2 still are kind of in the running. But if they obviously pick a Disgaea character at all, it's going to have to be Laharl. I'm going to give... And I gave Laharl a 50% chance, given that there's a chance he could be in the game, but it's not a very big chance. I'm going to give Killia a 30% chance. It's still there. There's still a small percent chance that if a Disgaea character gets into the game, it might be someone like Killia. But given that Laharl has pretty much appeared in every single game in the series, he's a main character of 2. He's getting a remake of his game soon. So he's going to be at 3 games in the series. And every single game, Disgaea 2, 3, 4, and 5, he appears either as some side story in the game. He joins your party somehow. He's DLC. He's unlockable. Yeah, I think he would be the obvious choice, and even 50%, given that we probably won't see a Disgaea character, at least in Ultimate, maybe in the future Smash Bros. Game. I do think Disgaea does deserve at some point to be included in Smash Bros., given there's a history growing there on Nintendo. But as for Killia, he's a cool character, and I think they can make a really cool moveset out of him, given that he can punch and kick. He's not a big, heavy sword user. He does a lot of fire attacks, like the Hellfire Shot and the spinning fire kicks, and make some wacky moveset out of him loving curry. I think that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, 30%, which might be a little high still, but I think it's still there. It still stands the test of time, given that I think there's still a chance. But it's not a very, very good one. So that's it for Killia from Disgaea 5. And I hope you guys like this video. Put in the comments what you guys think. Do you guys want to see Disgaea represented at all? Who would you want to see? Would you want to see it be Killia, or should it be Laharl? Should it be Adele? Adele? Should it be Mao? Should it be Velvetraz? Who would it be, really? It should be Etna, even. Put in the comment, or Flown. Put in the comment section below if you want to Disgaea character, who would you want? And just discuss it there and have fun. And my moveset makes sense. What moveset would you give them? What reasons do they make sense? Is 30% too high too? We'll just discuss it down there and have fun. That's all I can really say. Other than that, though, that's it for this video. My name is Sniper Peace. Please subscribe. I want to have a lovely day. And when I return for character number 82, we're going to be talking about the first ever female fighting game character, the queen of female fighters, Chun-Li. See you all later.